Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Kelsey and I like to talk about books and more books and a lot of books. Today I figured I'd do something, or tonight actually because it's dark out, but I figured I'd talk about all the books that I brought with me to college, which is kind of going to be like my TBR for the rest of the year, because I've seen everybody do their like what I want to read this fall, and so let's think of this as everything I want to read in the fall and like the winter. This is everything I'm trying to read, or everything I brought with me to hopefully read before the end of the year. Let's start, this is the tiny one, it's just right on top, and I got this actually here, and this is Jude the Obscure by Thomas Hardy. I bought this while I was at the used bookstore, and I'd seen a lot of people include this on like their Victorian Gothic lists, which is something I've been interested in. So here's what the back says. The stonemason Jude Fawley is a dreamer. He is a tragedy of unfulfilled aims. With his tantalizing cousin Sue Bridehead, the last and most extraordinary of Hardy's heroines, Jude takes on the world and discovers, tragically, its brutal indifference. So yeah, I love these like tiny little books. And then these are two that I'm reading actually right now. The first book is A Breath of Life by Clarice Lispector. I didn't know who Clarice Lispector was, or like I wasn't really familiar with her work until I saw Leah Crumpton, or Lover of Pages, on Book Talk and BookTube talking about her, and she loves her work, so I figured I'd pick up this one because it sounded a bit Frankensteinian. Like, it's supposed to be, I guess actually the only way I can really describe it, I'm about more than halfway, and the only way I can really describe it is kind of like an absurdist meta conversation, but not really, between an author and a character that he's created, and I am loving this book so much. It's different than what I imagined it to be, because obviously I came into it thinking it was going to be like a creator creation sort of thing, and it still very much is that. It just talks a lot about like what it is to be a writer and to write and to create, and this also comes, it was published posthumously. It was published after the death of Clarice Lispector, so it kind of, it's very poignant, and I'm loving this so far. I think it's really gonna be like a new favorite, 5-star, 6-star, yeah. And the other book I'm reading is for my book club for the honor society that I'm in, and that is Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward. This book is about 12 days leading up to and during Hurricane Katrina, and it's about girlhood. It's very gritty, it's raw. We're halfway through right now, and this author is going to be the common reader at our academic convention in the spring, which I'm very excited about. I really hope I get to meet her, because this book, it's very frank, and it's very, it doesn't hold back from like the gritty reality of poverty, especially before a tragedy. It's fantastic. I'm loving it. And then the next book I have with me is The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. This is a bunch of feminist retellings of short stories, and I am like slowly making my way through this. I started reading it last semester, and it's not something that I'm like, it's really short, but it's not something that I'm trying to get through really fast. I kind of just pick it up whenever I'm looking for prose inspiration, because I know a lot of critics like to say that Angela Carter has purple prose, but I love purple prose. I love the way that she writes, just like so descriptive. It's so like, I don't know how anyone can complain, but yeah, so I love Angela Carter. I'm trying to read more of her stuff, and yeah, I have one of her other like novels at home, so I think I'm gonna pick that up when I go home during winter break and bring that back for the spring. I think that'll be really good. And the next book, I actually just got this in the mail, as in I ordered it, we're not there yet to get advanced reader copies, but this is Enter Ghost by Isabella Hamad. I've been in kind of a lit fic mood, which is kind of odd since I don't really read a lot of lit fic, but this book is about it's about a Palestinian actor who goes back to her home in Haifa and gets roped into playing in a production of Hamlet, and I love Hamlet, and everything I've heard about this book is that it's very like it really talks about art under occupation, and that's something I've always been really interested in. So I am also trying to like expand my reading, diversify my readings. So I'm very excited to read this one. And I also haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, which is strange because I think it would be like, I think this one would be big with like the lit fic Jack Edwards brand of readers. So yeah, that's Enter Ghost. I brought with me, I'm also in the middle of, but I just put it down for a bit, but I'm hoping to like pick it up once it gets a little bit colder out. This is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, and I don't know why I put this down for a little bit, or like I'm on hiatus from it. It's very good. It's about this mysterious woman who takes up a house in this kind of like small town and becomes the center of a lot of gossip, and there's like a love affair. They kind of spoil it on the back cover, so I'm not gonna spoil it, but just know that there's a bit of a spoiler on the back cover. But I really liked this when I was reading it. I know a lot of people don't, like, they think Anne Bronte, like, she's the third Bronte, like, not obviously, but like, a lot of people don't talk a lot about this book, and I personally really liked it. I think I was just like looking for something else. So hopefully I pick this back up soon because I was enjoying it, and I really enjoy how short the chapters are too, because I feel like that's not something you see a lot of in classic books. But yeah, that's The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. And then the next book I brought because I thought I would need to read this for a class. I don't, but I think I'm gonna try and read it anyway because I love Arthur Miller. I'm actually doing a research paper on All My Sons, which is my favorite Arthur Miller play. This is The Crucible, and I don't know too much about the plot of The Crucible. I obviously know that it's like, okay, where's the synopsis? So I don't know too much about The Crucible, and I guess I will remain not knowing a lot about The Crucible, but I've heard a lot about the new play, John Proctor's The Villain, and I figured I might as well read The Crucible before I look into that. And yeah, I got this really gorgeous penguin edition. I don't know if you can see that really well. I chose to do some like ambient lighting. I don't know if that's playing well, but yeah, look at that. But I got this from my used bookstore back home, and I really like this. So yeah, hopefully I'll read that in October, November maybe. And then this next one, it's not really like anything that I like need to like read. It's just Mary Oliver's A Poetry Handbook. And now I wouldn't consider myself a poet, but I saw a lot of people say that this is good for just like any writer, especially because Mary Oliver is so renowned for her poetry, obviously, and like her descriptiveness. And I really like the way she talks about nature, which is something I'm trying to get a little better at. I don't know if I'm like bad. I think I'm fine. I'm middle grade. So that's Mary Oliver's A Poetry Handbook. I also got this at my small business bookstore back home. And then this one I am definitely reading. This has been on the list for way too long. This is Carmilla by Sheridan Le Fanu. It predates Dracula, and it's sapphic, which I feel like we don't see a lot of in classic books. Like, it's always people are focusing on like the undertones, like the gay undertones of Portrait of Dorian Gray, which is like there, like it's true. But this one is like proper, I think. It's, yeah, and look at that cover. And then this one, it's Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I bought this when I was low-key crashing out over summer. And one thing about me is I will never hate on the romance genre. I don't read too much like proper romance, like Ali Hazelwood, Emily Henry brand, but I kind of love it. Like, the two times that I read Done and Dusted and Swift and Saddled, I think is the second one, by Lila Sage. I devour those books so fast. Something about romance books It's obviously because they're probably a little bit easy to read. I devour them really fast. So I think once I finish the Clarice Lispector book that I'm reading right now, this is definitely gonna happen. And I think this book is about a vampire like princess who gets put in an arranged marriage with a werewolf to like what's the word? Feuds and fuse. So yeah, that's Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. The next one is also kind of like the short story collection. I'm not really like pushing to get through it super fast, and that is Emily Bronte's Complete Poems. I love Emily Bronte so much. I love her so much. So I got her Complete Poems just because I want to read them. And also I've read like a couple of her poems through Poetry Foundation, and I love all of them. This one I brought because I was very hopeful I would get to it, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to it this fall and winter. It feels like such a winter fall book, but I might try and read it in like the spring or summer. I think it could really go either way. And that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Now you might notice I'm a big Pride and Prejudice fan, but I've never actually read the book. So yeah, this might happen in the spring. Or it might happen in the fall if I somehow get like a burst of energy and decide to read this. And then the next two are ones I bought in my previous vlog, and that's Maria or the Wrongs of Women by Mary Wollstonecraft. I guess you might call this an essay. Mary Wollstonecraft, she's like a very renowned feminist. Feminist? I don't know if you would. She just cares a lot about the rights of women, which I appreciate, and I'm always interested to read about the kind of issues that like plague women in I'm always interested to read about issues that previous women were like caring about in their contemporaries, like in context of like what they. That's Maria or the Wrongs of Women. Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I don't know if I'm gonna read this fall. I'm definitely going to save it for a fall because it's like gothic satire is what I've heard. In it, Austen weaves a romance full of suspense and comedy around the heroine Catherine Morland's first foray into society. The style of the novel is a unique hybrid. Along the way, Austen parodies the 18th century novel of manners, the gothic novel, and even the educational treatise of the time. So yeah, I heard this was like a gothic satire, so I'm really interested to read it because I know Pride and Prejudice is also supposed to be like a satire. And it sounds like Jane Austen, she was a funny girl. That is Northanger Abbey. And it did a flip. This next book I also bought here in Tallahassee, and I did start it. But I kind of fell off reading it just because it's Violin by Anne Rice, which Anne Rice famously Interview with a Vampire, Anne Rice. This book I don't think is like part of that group. I mean, it's still like vampire-y, but yeah, I know I said earlier that I love purple prose, but sometimes in this I get a little confused. I still have the bookmark in. I got there, so not too far in, but yeah, and also the chapters are really long. Like, I am nothing if not a short chapter lover. I understand the purpose of long chapters for like suspense, but it really feels like there could have been some breaks in here. So this is about a woman who is obsessed with like orchestral music and like violins, and after the death of her husband, a mysterious violin player starts like following her around, and like he's a vampire. They don't really hide that, I don't think, at least not in the synopsis, so I might have spoiled it, but it's also Anne Rice. So the next book is Mary and the Birth of Frankenstein by Anna Eickhout. I heard about this book from Books and Quills here on YouTube. She gives like a lot of great like gothic classic kind of book recommendations. Yeah, and this is just about like a fictionalized retelling of maybe writing Frankenstein, but this has been like on my shelf for probably 2 or 3 years now. And I don't know, but when I was packing, this was like glowing, so I decided to pack it. This might also be like a November one. I think this might definitely be a November one, but I do kind of want to read it before the new Frankenstein movie comes out. I'm so excited, guys. Oh, I'm so excited. And then the last book, this seems like a lot of books. I swear it's for like the next 3 months, so like bear with me. The last book is A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poranek. I read Where the Dark Stands Still last year, and it was definitely my top 3. Yeah, top 3 for sure. I loved that book. I don't know, it just like it really appealed to me, and that was A.B. Poranek's debut, so I was gleefully following the publication of this book and like everything. This is a sapphic sort of fantastical retelling of Swan Lake. I believe it deviates a bit from the plot, or at least the vibe I got from the synopsis was that it's not exactly Swan Lake. It's kind of a love story between the Black Swan and the White Swan, which I am a little excited to read. I'm actually very excited to read. This might be like a November, December one because it's like gothic, but it's also like swans. It's like it's Swan Lake, and ballet like always kind of seems to me December colder vibes, and I think that could be because of the Nutcracker, but also since so many like ballets are kind of tragic, like my favorite is Giselle. Since so many ballets are kind of tragic, they give cold. But yes, I'm so excited. This art is also so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful. But yes, I'm so excited to read her next book. I'm like sure she's gonna become an auto-buy author for me, but we'll see how this book goes. Yes, those are all the books I want to read. Oh my gosh. I know they look like a lot when they're all like stacked up on my bed, but I've got like this shelf, that shelf, and my cart is another shelf for me. Yeah, but one thing about me is I have truly mastered the art of like dispersing books around my room in order to make it not appear that many. But yeah, those are all the books I brought with me to Tallahassee. I've still been like, I do like to buy books. It is part of the hobby of reading, is also the buying, but hopefully I don't do too much of that. I think I get into the habit of like, oh, new room, more book, but when I take them home, the shelves are full. The shelves are full. I'm probably gonna do like another cleaning out of them like once I'm back home for winter break, just because I'm like thinking about taking all of these home and putting them down. But yeah, so those are all the books I brought with me to Tallahassee. Hopefully, oh, thanks so much for watching. If you, like me, like the kind of book taste I have going on in this mess, consider subscribing, consider sticking around. I'm trying to do like a bit more. Yeah, I'm hoping to do some more like fun videos. I've got some ideas that I'm kind of excited about. So yep, hopefully you stick around to see those. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!